He's for voluntary human extinction.
Should we write for or against?
No, if you agree with him, you're over at the +1 range. If you disagree with him, you're at the -1 range.
What if we write DNA?
Yes, Sheldon does it.
So you're going to have to play along that. What do you think it is?
You can't read.
Extinction. What do you think he's
You
going
can't
to do?
read. Wait, Mr. Benedict.
Movement extinction.
Okay, well, movement is a trend.
Freddy field.
Alright, well, just do your best, Zach. From what you've heard, you just make your best guess. Yes, Jess.
For the comments, can we do like an argument against them, or is it just
No,
about their
your
speech?
comment is about their speech. Or it can be about an argument that you thought could have been improved or was impressive. Like I never thought about that. Okay. Are you ready, Mr. Jacobson?
Yes.
Go.
When you hear voluntary human extinction, what is your immediate reaction? Do you imagine some bizarre suicide cult like Jonestown? Or perhaps a group of crazy terrorists dropping bombs on schools? You're probably not imagining a group of eco-conscious people who care for the planet. But that's just it. The voluntary human extinction movement, or vehement, is, to put it simply, the belief that humans are destroying the Earth and must be made extinct to protect the planet. Again, contrary to what you may believe, when I say humans should be extinct, I do not want this done through murder and genocide. The vehement belief is that in order to humanely wipe out the species, humans must stop having babies. Now, before your jaws drop at such an idea, please listen carefully. The major problem the movement wants to stop is overpopulation. The Earth is currently going through an overpopulation crisis. The human population is thought to be over 6 billion, with thousands more born each day. The effect this has on the environment has been staggering. Take Haiti, for example. The island of Haiti averages 6,000 people per square kilometer. That means for every square kilometer you have, there are 6,000 people living and breathing in that area. In the 1920s, Haiti remained about 60% covered in forest. However, uncontrolled breeding leading to overpopulation has caused the clearing of trees to be used as temporary fuel source and land for temporary farming. Now only 2% of Haiti remains covered in forest. This is the island of Hispaniola, where Haiti and Dominican Republic meet. This is Dominican Republic, and this is now Haiti. As you can see, the clearing of forest has led to immediate desertification, which means that in the future, trees will not be able to grow there because the soil is being eroded. But if that wasn't enough, the recent earthquake. Before that, there were 9 million people on the country. However, now there are hundreds of thousands believed dead and still thousands more missing. Is that really a surprise? When you cram a population too large into a space too small, and then nature comes calling, what do you expect? Overpopulation also causes overdemand of resources. Hope you guys don't like fish sticks, because overfishing has depleted many stocks of once thriving fish species. In 1/3 of fisheries around the world, fish stocks have almost completely collapsed due to the growing demands of the growing human population determined to feed their many bellies. The vehement is also helpful for the economy. In this current time, where jobs are being lost, but more people are being bred, unemployment rises. So, it's pretty simple math. If less people are born, and less jobs are needed to fill them, unemployment goes down. Now, many people, upon hearing of the speech, greet it with disgust and resentment, especially that side of the room. The concept of the human race dying out just does not seem to be logical. It seems very radical. However, to deny that the world is overpopulated and that we need less people is undisputable. Many people, however, deny this. They argue that humans take up only a minor percent of the world's space. In fact, they say that if you were to try, you could put all 6 billion people in the world in a land space the size of Texas. Now, they also say, especially Ben, if humans were gone, why should we care about the Earth? I mean, we're not here to enjoy it. A meteor could strike it out for all we know. And to that I say, humans are not needed to validate the existence of other species. Did you know that in 1820 William Smith first set eyes on Antarctica? Do you really think up until that point the entire penguin population was in serious depression over not being in a narration of Morgan Freeman? Also, the claim that humans could live in a space the size of Texas is absurd. because it fails to account the land space needed to grow the food, to house the people, and to provide for all the other necessary requirements for human growth. The plan for action of the movement is very simple. Humans must stop procreating. This does not mean humans must stop having sex. You can all have a good laugh about that. It simply calls for first world nations to offer birth control and contraceptives to those who are willing to use them. And before you start booing me at the lack of babies this world will have and how they're so cute, I want you all to consider something. In a third world country, is it worse to bring a living, breathing human into a world where he's going to suffer and die from starvation and war, or to simply not have the child at all? And that is a starving baby really that cute? And that brings me to one final point. A few days ago, the person who will attempt to rebut my argument when I finish, gosh, let's slip the topic of my speech. It should be of no surprise that all hell broke loose. Well, I won't go into everything that was said. I will mention I was called a witch at least 3 times, and I was compared to a modern-day Hitler. And all this for suggesting that humans are getting a little too numerous. Many people seem angry that I didn't want them to have kids. When I asked whether they had any considered adoption, I was met with the shock of being asked such a ridiculous question. After all, it is a woman's right to have a child. And I agree. If we weren't supposed to have children, we wouldn't have reproductive systems. However, the argument brought up involved nature will take care of it. Nature will deal with overpopulation. Do you know what happens when nature deals with overpopulation? That's what happens. Famine, war, disease, starvation. Bodies. Is that really a kinder way to handle this than just not having the kids in the first place? Are babies really that worth it? So for you who command Kirby to Hitler, think again. There's 2 million kids in America living on the streets because they're homeless. Is it their fault, or can you adopt them? By the way, the top aspect of the movement is that we don't really care if humans are extinct or not. In fact, it would be great if humans could learn to live with the earth and not destroy it. So that's why, should humans one day, I don't know, discover a way to control the population and not kill the earth, the movement would end. You could all have babies. But until that day, I want you to consider something. Is it us or every other species on the planet? May we all live long and die happy.